if you're asking me what I think about the future, yes, it probably is too late for most of what they commonly refer to as this generation, which I guess that means everyone who's 17 to about 28, 29 today. Yes, they have grown up with they thinking music should be free, but I don't think it'll last. I think that can be turned around. I think that they will see that music should not be free. Those 17-year-olds and 20-year-olds eventually become 30 and 40-year-olds. That's not really that far away. That's 10 years into the future. One book led to the second book, Secrets of Negotiating a Record Contract. There's a third book, which we don't have here tonight, called $1 Million Mistakes. And that's just I took all these great stories of everyone who'd made $1 million and lost $1 million. I interviewed them and said, how did you make this huge mistake? And then how did you overcome it? The theory behind that book being it's a lot easier to learn from other people's mistakes than to make them yourself, and certainly less expensive. And then the most recent book that we don't have a copy of here tonight is called 100 Answers to 50 Questions About the Music Business. And it just came out. It's on Hal Leonard, like all the other books. And I'm the most proud of that book because that book is for everyone. That book is designed for anyone at any stage of your music career. So this is, I think, very useful because I'm sure there isn't a person in your organization who wasn't thinking, should I join ASCAP or BMI? Exactly. Does it really matter? It does matter. It can make a difference. Yeah,
that's interesting.
And I have clients where they're co-writers and one's an ASCAP writer, one's a BMI writer. Their checks don't always match for the exact same song and the exact same placement.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah. Songwriters need to understand that these click-to-agree contracts are just as legally binding as if someone had a 40-page contract in front of you and they made you sign it in ink or in blood. Most people don't even read these things. They just scroll to the bottom, like a software license.
Yeah, they're used to doing, an upgrade on iTunes or something. Yeah, they're used to doing that. And they figure, oh, this is benign, so I'm just going to click on it.
And so it's benign if you're talking about an iTunes update. It's not benign if you're talking about a digital distribution agreement or or a license or an agreement for a company to distribute your music through a social networking service or through an EPK service. It is not benign. And so to not understand what these contracts mean, it could hurt you. Educate yourself to understand what these terms mean. If you're a songwriter, you've got to know what a mechanical license is, a controlled composition, a statutory rate. These are basic. This is part of your basic vocabulary, your basic nomenclature. You have to know what this stuff is. You have to understand how a publishing contract works, even if you don't have one, because you're competing with people who have publishing contracts. You have to understand the mechanics of how when someone's looking for a song, why would they go to someone with a publishing contract instead of just coming to you? And I gave you a piece of the answer just a minute ago, because it's already an understanding. This is the reason, one reason why an artist might sign with a major label. There's a lot of reasons not to, but one of the reasons why they might is because there's a huge amount of infrastructure. When you sign to Sony, you don't just get one Sony label. You get all their publishing divisions, you get their promotion, you get this huge amount of infrastructure that's all working under the same agreement. You don't have to renegotiate a whole bunch of things.
Let's say someone out there has clicked on one of these things, which is like the same as a signature, right?
It is the same as a signature.
What can they do to undo it?
Cancel it.
And how's that?
You send them an email and a registered letter saying, I'm here henceforth canceling the agreement. First, you print out a copy of it. You should always print out a copy of any click-to-agree contract you signed. Always keep a copy because they may change it. They may change the web version. You always want to have a version that you signed.
The one that you signed at the time.
Someone was telling me, well, what about this? He mentioned some label and some group that supposedly sold 1 million CDs without a major label. And I'm like, really? Okay. Do you know how much it costs to print 1 million CDs? It costs a little over $1 million. So how'd they get the money?
Right.
Did they have $1 million in their garage? And they said, well, they probably didn't sell them all at once. I'm like, yes, but the CD manufacturing plant isn't going to take credit and say, oh, yeah, you can pay us, after you sell the records. You have to come up with at least a fair portion of that, and you have to constantly be printing if you're going to be selling that many records. Right. I don't want your audience to get the wrong impression that I'm anti-download. Yeah. Here's a fact you need to live with. 80% of all music sales are still CDs. 80%.
It's hard to believe that in this day and age.
It's the way it is. And that 80%, by the way, does not include all the CDs that are sold as used CDs through Amazon and Amoeba, which accounts for probably another 10 million units or more. Right. One of the statistics that I track is I go down to Amoeba Records on Vine. I speak to the product manager down there, and I get their statistics. And this is not, the RA does not track this stuff. This is not, when the RIA says we're losing money, sales are down, they're not including those millions and millions of CDs that are sold through Amoeba and the used records sold through Amazon. And that's millions and millions of units. So it's not really, no one really knows if CD sales are down. They're only down if you continue, if you define them as very narrowly as the RIAA defines them.